Okay, what's up, people? So we are in Cleveland, Tennessee today, and it is cold. I think the high for today is like 35. Right now it's about 30. But anyways, today we're not taking the boat out. A little too cold for that. Hunter's off work, so we want to relax some. And we're going to put together a little tip video for y'all. A lot of these are really simple, and they're little things that get overlooked a lot. And I use these tips all the time, and hopefully you will too. And if you like anything on this video, hit that sub button. If you think you could teach anybody anything using this video, share this video. Let's get this word out, grow this channel up. Enjoy this video, guys. Okay, people, one of the most aggravating things about buying soft plastics, and especially swim baits, these are the cheaper ones. You can spend all the way up to like $3 or $4 a piece on swim baits, but really this is a Yum Pulse, and I've never got one in my whole life that's straight. See how screwed up that one is? They're all like that. Because the way they cut, they don't come in a clamshell, so they come like that. So the way to fix this is just put them in boiling water for like a minute and a half, and when they come out, they'll be almost perfectly straight. Now while those are boiling, a lot of people don't know this. A lot of people don't know this, but if you lay plastics out straight, they'll actually become straight. So this is a horny toad. And it was, you can still see it's a little bent, but it was very, very bent. I've had it out for like a day, and the tails are already kind of going back to normal. Like, all these were really, really messed up. And see, now I've had them laid out straight, and now they're usable. They're still a little creased, but they're usable. But if you don't have that kind of time, throw them in boiling water, and you'll straighten them right up. Okay, guys. They've been in there for about 2 minutes. Let me make sure I know how to work these things. Let me get one now and show you how straight it is. So you can see it went almost right back to normal. And all of these were too crooked to fish with. So you can see that in just a couple minutes, I got almost all of them perfectly straight. So that'll save you some time and save you some money. Okay, one thing about me, I always like to keep my reels as loose as I can because it gives you the most consistent throw. So you want to be able to do the least amount of arm movement and get the bait to go as far as possible. So that's how you get the most consistent, accurate cast of all the time. Okay, and one thing people overlook a lot is your line. You see, this is my jig line. It's 16-pound fluorocarbon. You can see it's got all these coils in it. So that's going to really, really make it harder for you to throw. Like, that puts more drag on your reel. It's going to give you inconsistencies in your cast. So you have to straighten that out. So one thing I always do if I've had line on for a while is I'll hook it to a cleat of the boat. I'll walk off the line, I'll stretch it, and I'll show you just how good that works right here. How bad that line looks, all that memory in it. All right, Hunter, walk backwards. Okay, now when she lets pressure off this, I want you to see how perfect this line looks. Drop it. See how it looks? It's completely straight all the way down. You can't see any memory left in it at all. So that will give you more consistent cast with old line. So do that with fluorocarbon or mono. It doesn't work for braid. Braid doesn't get memory, but anyways. Okay. One thing I see people doing a lot that I do not agree with is they throw an EWG hook for a lot of applications like a Cinco or a Fluke, or I don't really throw this at all. But the problem with it is this hook, you need this part to come out of the fish's mouth and then move. So basically, if a fish eats this whole thing and you set the hook, this right here obstructs the hook point. So whenever you're setting the hook, this hits the fish in the top of the mouth. And literally, you can rub this along my hand and not even hardly grab any skin. It'll snag a little, but not enough to really, you know, hook a fish. Like you can see, I'm actually moving up and down, and it's not even sticking me. Now you cannot do that with this hook. This hook, because the trajectory, if I rub that up and down, it automatically starts digging because that hook point is higher than the line tie. So whenever you set the hook, if a fish is coming at you with this hook, you can still get a hook in them. If a fish is coming at you with this hook, you will never get that fish to the boat. Now, if a fish is swimming left or right or away from you, and you set the hook, you'll pull this top out and then hook them in the lips. Because this has, the reason they made these is because if you're throwing like a fluke, something with a big body, and you set the hook, the fluke can slide down on the hook and give you enough of a gap between the bait and the hook point. But what it doesn't do is give you enough gap between the hook point and the hook eye. So this right here will make you lose more fish, in my opinion, than this. I have completely got away from throwing these at all. This is like 5 years old. Alright folks, tip number 4, staying with the casting. So one thing that if you're learning to throw a bait caster, you can take it and make the longest cast you can possibly make strip off about 10 more feet of line, and then put a piece of tape over the spool. I don't do that, but if you're just learning to use a bait caster, do that. It will make you will never get a bird nest go past that piece of tape. So you put that tape on there, it makes it a whole lot easier to get bird nests out. If you do somehow just blow the reel up, you're not going to get the bird nest near as deep. So make the longest cast you can make, strip out 10 foot, lay a piece of tape across the reel. If you're learning how to throw a bait caster, it'll save you a lot of headache. Okay, tip number 5 is bobber stoppers. They're one of the most important things. I can't say one of the most important things in my boat, but it makes my life a whole lot easier. They have so much applications. I mainly use them for flipping. You put them in front of the weight, and obviously it helps you, the weight and the hook stay together and pulls your bait into the cover. Now, it has a few more applications than that. You see people a lot of times put them in front of swim baits. Makes the bait a little bit more weedless. It'll make it where if you do get in some slime or something, the slime will hang on the bobber stop and not get on your bait. Or it will just help it come through grass because it's got a little more of a, it has like a little point on it in front of that swim bait, and so when you're reeling it through grass, it helps part the grass a little better. Now, another thing I see people do is when you're throwing braid straight to something like a popper or a prop bait, you're throwing straight braid, a lot of times it gets tangled up in the front hooks. So you take it and put you a bobber stop or 2 bobber stops on that line right in front of the line tie, and it'll keep that line from falling so limp right on there and getting tangled up in the hooks. Now, another application for it is you can actually make a light Carolina rig out of it. You take the bobber stop, put it on the line, slide it up about 2 foot, put your little weight on there, and then slide the bobber stop on the bottom of the weight as well. So you put 2 bobber stops on both sides of the weight and make you a light Carolina rig. Something you definitely need in your box. There's a lot of different applications for it. Another thing you can do with it is in practice days, you don't want to hook a fish, you just slide it over the hook point, and then when you get a bite, you just shake the fish off and don't hook them. So a lot of things you can do with a bobber stop. Definitely need to keep some in your box at all times. Tip number something. You can see I'm hung on that dock post over there. Down at the bottom, my jig's on it. And obviously I could go over there and get that, but it's just for demonstration purposes. You take your line, pull it out, make a bend in the rod, and then shoot it back at it. And then you see the jig just fell off. So what that does is, if you don't get the hook in past the barb, the fluorocarbon has stretch, and so does the rod. And whenever you pull that line tight and then let it go, the stretch comes out back into the line, and it actually shoots the jig that way. Now, I'm gonna get hung up again on purpose and show you what to do if that doesn't work. Okay, obviously, it'd be very easy to walk over there and get it undone again, but for demonstration purposes only, I'll show you. If you can't pop it out, the way to get it out is pull some slack out of your line like this, grab the line right here, and then actually slide the rod down like a pull stick. You can see it come off. Now, if you're not comfortable doing a $400 or $500 rod that way, don't do it. But I've did it thousands of times, it never broke my line, never broke my rod. So it's a quick way to get you unhung. Okay, I'm gonna do something that I don't normally try to do, but I'm pretty good at it. And that is intentionally get a bird's nest. So I'm gonna show y'all how to get it out quickly. I can't even make myself bird's nest. It's too natural to thumb it whenever you know something's going wrong.
Let me do it, let me do it.
Okay. That's a small one. But I got one. Let's see if I can get a snag in here. Okay, so right there I got a snag already. So all this is, the line comes up individually, and whenever 2 pieces of line wraps over, you get a bird's nest. I mean, you get a snag like that. So all you do is put your thumb on here and actually reverse the coil to make it go the other way on the spool. Just put your thumb on it, reel down. It didn't work. Put your thumb on it hard as you can, and then turn the handle. Then eventually, you do it a few times, it'll come out. Now, does this work every single time? No. Sometimes you do have to perform emergency surgery, but it works enough where it'll save you a lot of time. And there you go. Okay guys, if you learned anything at all from that video, hit that sub button, and if you got anybody that you think could learn something from it, hit that share button. Share this video, let's grow this channel, and don't forget to leave a like, leave a comment, and turn the alerts on. See y'all.